Hello, everyone, and welcome to my final episode with Jamie, who is the financial coordinator with the Demand Project. Here's a quick recap. On the first episode, we discussed what the Demand Project does and how it aims at protecting children and eradicating trafficking. On this episode, we will be discussing how we all can help. So stay tuned. Welcome to the No Common Measure podcast, where we tell stories that will guide and inspire you to look at your life experiences differently. What are key factors for us to be able to tune in and be like, okay, that person needs help?
Yes.
I'm not saying that we have to intervene in people's lives. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying just mannerisms that we should watch out for when we see people outside, just for us to pay attention.
Yes. First, I would love for everyone to go to the demandproject.org. There is a button there of what you can do. As far as our prevention outlook is to empower. We want to empower people to be that person in the community, to, if they see something, to say something. Yeah. We want to empower teenagers to know what exploitation looks like on every level and how they can prevent themselves from being exploited or exploiting others. We also want to make parents aware. We want parents to be aware of apps, trending technology, things, emojis, Urban Dictionary type things. Like kids are always going to be one step ahead of us, and our aware workshop is going to educate parents on what is happening, but not from a place of fear. We want to make people aware because honestly, our CEO has a 20-year-old and a 17-year-old, and she's been doing this for almost 17 years. And both of her children have experienced online enticement. Both of her children have experienced things, because it's not a matter of if something's going to happen, it's when. And we want to make parents aware of the conversations that we can have, of the cues, like you're saying, what is the body language? And so to answer that question, I mean, I could talk forever about it, but some key things on a professional level, what I call counterculture, and that is putting our phones down and looking people in the eyes, letting people know, not only do I see you as a victim, if that's the case, I see you, can I help you? One thing we have, I'm not sure what your popular gas station is there. Here it's called QT, and they're on every corner. One thing that we help people understand is that if you see a child, or if you see a girl or a boy that looks under the age of 18, that is there at a time that you're like, they should probably be in school, right? That's one indicator. Are they dressed sexually, right? Are they dressed provocatively? Do they have expensive items? Are they holding an expensive bag or wearing expensive shoes? And then a lot of times you're going to see more than one girl with just one man. And so if he is the pimp, then you're going to see him with girls, and they may be different aged girls, but we are primarily looking for the indicators, which is going to be a group of girls with those indicators, whether it's scantily clad, expensive things. Oftentimes the car is kind of junky. And what we can do there is we can ask, right? We're going to ask them, are they okay? We also are going to take pictures. We'll take pictures of the license plate. We will take pictures of the proposed perpetrator. You know, does this man look like, we can feel that, right? If we're looking, we can feel if something feels off. Yes. And if it feels off, if we feel that in our gut, then we take these steps. We ask, we take pictures, and then we report. So your local law enforcement is going to be the place that you go to report a situation. You can give them the license plate number because you've taken a picture of it, and you can give them a description of the man and the girls. Now, it would ultimately be up to your law enforcement, which we see a gap in that, which is why we have a recovery department here, because we're able to go and maybe be the lookout. Maybe we have a team of private investigators that we can go to a situation that people have said, hey, I think something's going on here. Your local law enforcement may not have the manpower or time to do those things, but they will respond to well checks. And that's a very important thing to do, is to pick up the phone and call your law enforcement and say, I have a bad feeling and this is why.
When you said a man with a group of girls, I actually have never seen that. I've never seen that. And I can't even imagine something like that happening in society. So it's just, when you just said that, it was just shocking to me. So we're looking for a man with a bunch of girls, and we're looking for
it's usually 2 to 3
expensive items. We're looking for them to be in places where they're not supposed to be. They're supposed to be in school. Okay, I think we got that. I think we have to now be, the one thing I think that people will struggle with is the hunch that they get. They won't trust that hunch that something is wrong. They will totally override that. And that, I think, is the most important thing that a person can have. We all have his instincts, but we have learned over the years to override our instincts, which is powerful.
Well, and that's the counterculture part, is that we're going to keep ourselves distracted.
Yes.
We're going to be on our phone. We're going to have the podcast going. And sometimes when you're pulling into a place that could be a hotspot, which is going to be a gas station, a casino, a bowling alley, anywhere where maybe young people gather, is to just turn off the distractions and let yourself go with your intuition. Because like you said, it is empowering to know that we have that instinct inside of us. And well-meaning parents, this is another sign, but well-meaning parents, they're checking their kids' phones and they feel like they're safeguarding their children, but our instincts are still there, right? So if we feel something, take that phone away. Yes. It's not your kid's phone, it's your phone. It's not your kid's tablet, it's your tablet. And you have every right to go with that gut feeling, and don't smush it. Don't stuff it down. Don't just turn on your phone, or don't just, go clean. And, women are so good at that too, where we just, okay, I'm going to distract myself because I don't like the feeling. And it's like, lean into that, because we have to trust ourselves.
Yes. So I know you mentioned the demographics are ages 11 to 17. Can you give us the demographics on women and what income level, what their family income levels and stuff like that?
We don't work with adults. So
no, so the income level of the family they come from.
Oh, it's, all different. That's the thing with sex trafficking in 2021. Okay. What used to be a certain profile, all age perpetrators from 18 to 75, all genders, all race. There's not a profile. And the same with children. We have an at-risk demographic, which is going to be foster care children.
Okay.
It's going to be single mothers.
Okay.
And it's going to be any type of addicts. Anyone.
The single mothers are being victims as well? Or
no, their children are more at risk. Any single family, it's not necessarily single mother. In the state of Oklahoma, we have the highest incarceration of women in the world.
Got it.
So 50% of children are not in their maternal home in Oklahoma. Staggering statistic, that right there. That feeling like, well, that can't be good for the kid, right? We all know that. We know that kid is at risk. Yes. Because their parent has to work. Their parent can't be everywhere. And the child that's being, so the correlation between online enticement and sex trafficking, the connection is not far away. So almost 100% of online enticement is strangers. It's adults seeking to have sex with children online. They're seeking their victims online. And the ultimate goal is to meet these victims, right? To meet these children. So once that meeting takes place, the sex trafficking is on the other side of the door. Because if that perpetrator understands the demand for children, that for adults to have sex with them, if they know that, then they can easily turn that door around, and all of a sudden there's an industry, and it's sickening. But the United States is the highest consumer of the most pervasive crime in the world.
My goodness, are you what?
Yes. So when we are talking about child abuse imagery, someone that's viewing child abuse imagery, 85% of them are hands-on perpetrators of children. A normal victim count for a perpetrator is 20 to 30 children. A serial perpetrator is 300 children. So online enticement starts with a stranger, and that grooming that takes place before the meeting, it's now relational on this trafficking side, right? So now this person is a trusted person. It's someone that they've maybe spent 6 months talking to, a year talking to. And to go to that single family, it's a child that wants attention. It's a child that just wants to be noticed and loved, or they're bored. The pandemic from 2019 to 2020, online enticement tips for National Center of Missing and Exploited Children is up 200%.
I cannot even believe all these stuff. What? I can't believe.
So, but it's because we have put the device into the hands of children.
Yes.
So, when we had the pandemic, the kids are home by themselves, or the kids are on their tablets more, and so were the perpetrators. And they leaned into the victimization of children, knowing that they were more vulnerable, knowing they were more accessible. And so to fight it all, it starts at home. It starts in those four walls. But also, when it comes to that horrible statistic of 40% of trafficking children are trafficked by their family, trafficking can happen just in those four walls. So the word trafficking gives us an image of movement, right? It gives us an image of state lines, maybe semi trucks, maybe airplane. There's an image that comes to our mind with trafficking, but trafficking is serial rape of multiple individuals for exchange of goods or money, right? So that doesn't mean movement of a child. So that child could be in their home, and be trafficked because of the definition of commercial sexual exploitation. And so that goes into also the signs. These kids are going to school. These kids are going to youth group, right? These kids are in society, and they're being trafficked on the weekends, or they're being trafficked at night. And so the signs of that, right? Like that we have a whole nother educational workshop for that alone, because they're not missing. They're not being reported because their parents are ultimately the pimps in the situation. So the issue is so convoluted. I mean, we could talk about each individual issue for an hour, right? And at the end of the day, it's going to take all of us.
It's going to take all of us.
These conversations are important.
Yes, it's going to take all of us, and it has to start with us. We are part of the problem. And this is what I keep saying. If you see something that seems off and you can't do anything about it, you're part of the problem. If you see something and you ignore it, you're part of the problem.
Right.
Just like in this case, and I'm still stuck on the 200% between 2019 and 2020. That is staggering. That is huge. That is.
Yeah, you can go to missingkids.org. It's a great resource for education as well. I also recommend onwatch.org. It's a 1-hour training that you can do. It's a partner of ours, the Maloof Foundation out of Utah, that have put together the 1-hour online training. And then also the demandproject.org. That's going to be a place for you to come see what we're doing to support our mission, and to ultimately get involved.
My goodness. I want to ask a question, but I don't even want to give
Yes.
this so much energy. I don't even want to give this so much energy because I feel like yes, we should help the kids, right?
Mhm.
But I feel like, how about the perpetrators? Can't they be reached so they stop their behavior? It's something that I really don't want
I
to give
love it.
energy to, but I feel like,
Oh, we have to. I mean, I'm a believer of, I'm saved by grace, right?
yes,
I believe in the Lord Jesus, um, death on the cross, and that it redeemed me. And I believe in that power. And if I believe in that power, I have to believe in that power for everyone. And so ultimately, yes, the perpetrators need help, right?
yes,
So there's an amazing organization here in Tulsa called Changing Lanes.
okay.
.org. It's changinglanes.org, and it is a recovery program for pornography addiction. So
Now we're dealing with pornography.
when we get into why is this so pervasive, why is the United States the largest consumer, in all of the studies and all of the conversations, it goes back to pornography. It goes back to the accessibility. The average age of a male viewing pornography right now in 2021 is 8 years old.
What? I am definitely living under a rock.
Half of that is curiosity, half of that is someone showing them the pornography. Okay, at 8 years old, I have a 9-year-old, I have a third grader. To think of little boys sitting in my baby's classroom that has viewed pornography,
Yeah.
and we're talking adult pornography at this point. So there, I could have an hour conversation about that issue, because what happens is it's like a drug. Actually, fightthenewdrug.org, another amazing organization that's fighting against pornography. Exodus Cries, that's another great organization. We use these organizations to help educate us on this issue. But it's like a drug. So you may have used that drug for a short period of time, and you need to use a harder drug, or you need to use a little bit more, right? So all of a sudden you have a adult who was viewing pornography for 10 years, 18 years. I mean, how long have we had high speed internet? And how long have we had free pornography? You can view pornography on Instagram. You can view pornography on Google. You can view, I mean, it's readily available to anyone that wants to view it, right? So somebody shows you pornography, you will get curious, you go look. Pornography fuels sex trafficking, period, the end. It fuels the demand for children. The top 100 searches on Pornhub, half of them are about underage, half of them are about rape. It's getting worse and worse and worse and worse. So now it's fueling the demand for sex with children.
Yeah, that's sickening. If you're involved in, I'm sorry, I don't like to judge people, but I feel like if you're involved in something like that, you just need to seek help.
Well, I don't think people understand. And that's what we've helped. Like our golf, we have 4 events every year. That's another thing. Come to our events, they're amazing. But we have a golf tournament. And so that's primarily males, right? So we took the educational part into the war on innocence. And we were empowering them to be that soldier. We were empowering them to be the advocate for the younger generation, and we unraveled the war on innocence. And ultimately, how are you contributing to this war? Are you the perpetrator or are you the protector? And if you are viewing pornography, we had to explain that though, because not everyone understands. Actually, we lost a donor because I speak so forefront about pornography and against pornography, and we had a donor that didn't like what I was saying about it and chose to walk away from the demand projects in the donor side.
So they found it offensive or something?
We're living in a society where sex work is important to people. They cannot make the correlation between sex trafficking and sex trafficking of children, because it's not just children that's fueling, you cannot watch a video and know that that is consensual. You cannot go to a strip club. Yes, they're of age. Yes, you're of age. Yes, you're allowed to do whatever you want, but there's no way to know that that's consensual, that they aren't being coerced or they aren't being exploited. There's no way to know. Okay. And so we just have to connect those dots for people. It's not a matter of judgment. It's a matter of awakening. It's like, you've got to open your eyes. You've got to stop maybe something you're personally fueling this industry. You're fueling this crime. You're fueling this trauma on children. So it's just helping people understand it.
Yes. You know, I just still don't understand it. I don't understand the gravity of it. Believe it or not, Jamie, I haven't been huge on the internet. I just started getting on the internet like in August of 2021 when I started this podcast. So I don't know much about what's going on the internet, and hearing all these things is frightening to me. It was to connect people. People are tarnishing the effects of it. When you could do good with it, there's always that bad that comes in. Mm-hmm. So this is something that's very shocking to me, because again, you have to be, I've seen a lot of kids, Jamie, they are like 5 years old and they have 2 cell phones, 2. So what happens now when your child cannot function in society because they are doing things on that phone that is that causes them so much harm, that's causing them trauma? You know, the parent, we have to step. I hate to tell parents what to do, because I am not a parent myself, but somebody has to step up and take care of these children and guide these children. Yes. They need us. We cannot just go willy-nilly having babies without having having to be responsible for them.
Right. Well, I get the question a lot. I've got a 9-year-old daughter and a 6-year-old daughter, and I get the question a lot when I'm out in the community. How do you do this? How, with having kids, how do you do this work? Mm-hmm. It's because I'm educated, I'm empowered, I'm aware, and I'm not afraid. Mm-hmm. And a lot of parents with this issue are deathly afraid. And we want parents to feel empowered that they have everything that it takes to raise their kids in this crazy world, mm-hmm. and to do it with grace and love. And you just get educated. Knowledge is power.
Yes.
And they just have to have that power to know that their kids are going to be a light in a dark world. And back to the counterculture, my kids don't have phones, and I'm going to be the mean mom forever and ever, and amen. And they'll thank me one day, right? And it's not that it makes me a better parent. It's what my education has led me to make that decision. And that is empowering. Mm-hmm. And every parent can feel that way. And it's not going to look the same for each household. But if you can educate yourself on this, you will not be afraid.
Okay. Because that's something else. We don't want to scare people from something that's going to help them. We want them to have that balance. Okay,
absolutely.
We're not on the internet. It's all
well, they're already afraid. I mean, I talk to enough people on a regular basis that they are afraid, and there's no positive that comes from fear, right? There's positive that comes from being empowered and being educated and standing up for everyone's children.
Yeah.
And the work that we're doing here is kingdom work.
Okay. Got it. You know, I want to just say thank you for the work you guys do. Again, I did not understand the gravity of it when I went through your website. I did not even understand the complexity of this issue. And there's so many people like me, and there's so many parents that are just clueless because they give birth to their kids and they just think that their kids will make the right decisions. No, you have to guide these kids.
Yes.
You know, even if it's yourself, there's this movement. So researching your website, that I found that there's this dark psychology that's sipping into society. So you could even be part of it and not know. So people are influencing people's minds. So an adult, like a 20-year-old, can fall victim of dark psychology. Someone
absolutely
has persuaded you of something you know is to be true and told you is a lie. So, you just have to guard yourselves and guard the people around you, protect them. And I guess, and we continue this fight of building a society that's good for ourselves and our children.
And without getting in action, nothing will ever be changed. And so at the Demand Project, we say the standard that you walk past is the standard you choose to accept.
Mm-hmm.
Want people to choose to do what's right and join us in this fight. We need everyone.
Yes. Thank you so much, Jamie. I really do appreciate your time, and I look forward to talking to you next year, because next year is going to be a brand new year. It's going to be a brand new fight, brand new information, helping protect the kids. Let's protect the kids.